Hello everyone, I am Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. In our today's video, we'll try to understand why are Tamils in India so sensitive about Sri Lanka. Now the notes which I will be using in our today's session, in case if you want to download them, you can go to this particular Telegram channel called as ATS Live. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel also. So let us start by understanding the context. Why have we picked up this topic for our today's discussion? Now recently, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. M.K. Stalin, wrote a very lengthy and sharply worded letter to the Prime Minister of India, and he raised a question which is one of the most unresolved and moral and apolitical question in the entire South Asia. This is the question relating to the future of Tamil people who are hailing from Sri Lanka. So we'll try to understand the nitty-gritties of this issue, how this problem actually originated in the country of Sri Lanka and how it has affected people living in India, particularly the ones who are living in Tamil Nadu. Now you need to understand Indians, particularly the Tamils living in Tamil Nadu and Tamils living in Sri Lanka, they share a common heritage. For them, they share their language, their culture, their religion as well as family ties. And this they share across the narrow sea which is called as Park Strait, which is the narrow water body between India and Sri Lanka. Now for many families, Sri Lanka is not a foreign country. Rather, Sri Lanka for them is an extension of the shared Tamil civilization space. So if at all any violence happens against Tamil in Sri Lanka, it naturally affects people living in India, particularly Tamils in Tamil Nadu. Right? For them, it is not a matter of distant geopolitics. Rather, they consider harm to one of their own people as a harm to themselves only. So this is why people are so sensitive. Now, what is the reason for being so sensitive? That we'll try to understand. Now, you need to understand Sri Lanka is a multi-ethnic country. So in Sri Lanka, the majority population is Sinhala Buddhist. On the other hand, the minorities in Sri Lanka are Hindu Tamils. So for any multi-ethnic country, just like India, you need some sort of constitutional protection. So constitution, if it gives minorities the rights of their own culture, their own political and social rights, that rights need to be enforced by state. So ultimately, it is the state of any country who's responsible to ensure protection from minorities. So this is what should happen in any multi-ethnic country, just like how it happens in India. Now, Sri Lanka, things are not so hunky-dory. In Sri Lanka, they have a very structured unitary state which privileges majoritarian control, and at the same time it weakens the minorities' safeguards. So if you look at Sri Lanka's multiple constitutions which have been enforced in 1947, 72 or 78, you'll realize they enforce a unitary state framework. So as I said, in a multi-ethnic country like India, you need a federal form of governance. But on the other hand, in Sri Lanka, there is not federal but unitary state framework. Now, this structure of unitary state, it centralizes political authority and it denies meaningful autonomy to different regions where minorities usually reside. And in the northern part of Sri Lanka, you will find mostly in and around the areas of Jaffna where Hindu Tamils are present, right? So this is the problem that exists in the politics or in the structure or the system of Sri Lanka. Now, over time, this constitutional design of unitary state framework, it ensured systemic exclusion of Tamils from political power. It gave them weak protections for their linguistic and cultural rights, and the governance model in the Sri Lanka, it is incapable of accommodating ethnic pluralism, right? Because there is no regional autonomy. Now, rather than correcting earlier imbalances, each constitutions, they have doubled down on the unitary framework. So if at all there was a problem, they should have solved it by bringing constitutional amendment or bringing an altogether a new constitution that should have provided which kind of a framework? Federal framework. But what is happening in Sri Lanka? They have continued and doubled down on the same unitary framework which creates the problem in a multi-ethnic society like Sri Lanka. Now, because of this systemic imbalance towards the majoritarian control, which weakens the minorities' social and cultural rights, it has led to normalized discrimination. So in Sri Lanka, it is not just the majority who are discriminating against the minorities, but it is the system itself which is discriminating against the minorities. So you'll realize there have been state-backed or state-tolerated instances of ethnic violence against Tamils. There have been denial of equal citizenship rights to Tamils, and there have been suppression of legitimate Tamil political demands. What is the legitimate Tamil political demand. It is demand for more autonomy. It is demand for a federal structure of politics, not a unitary structure. Now, this period between the independence of Sri Lanka till the beginning of Civil War, we saw multiple instances of discrimination, and this has shifted from being a recurring instances rather than it is a continuous form of violence against the Tamil. Now, what happened because of this systemic discrimination against Tamil in Tamil Nadu, in Sri Lanka, they have been denied constitutional rights. They have been feeling politically marginalized, and this has culminated into a long instance of civil war, where the Tamil Sri Lankans, they picked up arms against the state of Sri Lanka, which is a majoritarian state. Now, this culmination of long civil war, it ended, but still there has been no end of, or there has no been possibility of any reconciliation between the majority and minority in Sri Lanka, and there has been no accountability on instances of violences which has been committed against the people of Tamils, right? Now, over decades, you will realize after the end of civil war, people in thousands, hundreds of thousands, they have crossed the narrow sea, that is Park Strait, into India, that is in Tamil Nadu. So there is a huge refugee settlement of Sri Lankan Tamils who presently reside in Tamil Nadu, in different parts of Tamil Nadu. So for people of Tamil Nadu, they've witnessed this kind of a plight of Sri Lankan Tamils in their day-to-day life. So this is not an abstract issue for them, which many people think it is. Rather, this is a visible everyday reality, just by the virtue of which they see these refugee camps in Tamil Nadu. Now, this continued statelessness of Tamils who are from Sri Lanka has brought a sense of empathy of people of Tamil Nadu towards Tamils in Sri Lanka. This has brought or aggravated the anger that people of Tamil Nadu have towards Sri Lankan Tamils, right? So you need to understand why people are so emotional about it, because they have seen the problem occurring multiple times. They have seen these problems visible in form of refugee camps that are there in Tamil Nadu. Right. Now, what does Tamil Nadu CM want out of Prime Minister of India, or what does he want out of Government of India? That we need to understand. Now, right now, Sri Lanka, under the present leadership of President Anura Kumar Dissanayake, they are trying to draft a new constitution. And any surprises? Do you think they are going to change the political structure of Sri Lanka? No. They are going to double down on this unitary state, which they call the concept of Ekki Rajya. Right. So for Sri Lankans, or for people in India, the Tamils, for them, any Sri Lankan constitution is not a neutral text. Rather, it is an historical instrument of exclusion. And by retaining the very unitary structure which created the problem in the first place, it concentrates power in the hand of Colombo. It enables demographic change, it enables land appropriation, and it enables cultural erosion of people of Tamils, right? So this is what is the problem in Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu government wants this problem to change. Now, by invoking what is called as Thimpu principles first originated in 1985 when Indian and Sri Lankan government were deciding how to end this civil war. There were many demands that were kept by people of Tamil Nadu, how any future of Tamil Nadu should ensure. First of all, they wanted that Tamils in Sri Lanka should be recognized as a distinct state, and if that doesn't happen, then northern and eastern provinces in Sri Lanka should be considered or designated as a traditional homeland of Tamils in Sri Lanka. Similarly, Tamils in Sri Lanka should get right to self-determination, and they should be living in a sense of a federal government which gives them equality, which gives them political rights, and it ensures their non-discrimination in form of recognition as a full citizen of Sri Lanka, right? So these are the principles that Tamils, particularly from India, want to be implemented in Sri Lanka, so that the future of Tamils in Sri Lanka is protected and safe. Okay. Now you must be thinking, why should Indian government intervene in a matter of a country which is not ours? First of all, this kind of a thinking emerges from what is called as Gujarat Doctrine. Gujarat Doctrine, which emerged in 90s, it wants India to have a non-interventionist approach towards any neighbor, including Sri Lanka. But here, if Indian government adopts a non-interventionist approach, this would be a bad thing. Why this would be a bad thing? Because India as a state, as a country, is not a neutral observer of this Tamil issue in Sri Lanka. First of all, if you can recall, India has supported Tamil nationalist groups earlier on. India even brokered the Indo-Sri Lankan Accord, and it even sent an Indian peacekeeping force in Sri Lanka, which eventually fought both Tamils and Sri Lankan state. But the intention of this peacekeeping force was to end the long civil war in Sri Lanka. Now, these all initiatives, although they failed, but it created a sense of unfinished business. It created a sense of unfinished responsibility on behalf of Indian government. So this is this very feeling that Tamil Nadu people or the Tamil Nadu government wants, that India should intervene in this matter. Now, why should India intervene? What is the reality behind it? You need to understand, as I told you, India is a multi-ethnic society, and in India, the minorities are guaranteed cultural, political rights which are provided directly in the Supreme Law of the Land Constitution. So in India, the kind of a political structure we have adopted, that is federalism as well as protection for minorities, this needs to be implemented in Sri Lanka as well. So India, just by having linguistic diversity, providing of state autonomy and minority protection, India can't be ignored of this fact when it comes to implementing the same in its immediate neighborhood. So from that logic, Indian government can't defend pluralism domestically if they ignore it regionally. This is what the broader approach should be. Now, what is the political reality in present day Tamil Nadu? You need to understand this Sri Lankan Tamil issue is something which unites even the different political parties in Tamil Nadu. So, all the major political parties in Tamil Nadu, DMK, AIDMK, left, even BJP allies, they agree or they have a consensus that this Sri Lankan issue should be solved at the earliest. So, any perceived Indian indifference or any perceived Indian government's neutrality on this issue would have domestic political cost, and this even the union government realized that if they do not want to alienate the people of Tamil Nadu, they'll have to in some way intervene so that the interest of Tamils in Sri Lanka is taken care of. Similarly, this letter by CM of Tamil Nadu, you need to understand it is a strategic attempt on his behalf to intervene before constitutional outcomes harden or before the new constitution comes and it follows a unitary structure. So he has warned that this cosmetic reforms the part of Sri Lankan government, it risks opening one of the deepest wounds that the South Asia has been subjected to in the past few decades. Okay, so this is the broad framework of why Tamils in India, particularly in Tamil Nadu, are so sensitive about Sri Lanka. It is because the people who are Tamil Hindus in Sri Lanka, they are facing discrimination, not just a discrimination by majority, but discrimination even from the Sri Lankan state. Because Sri Lankan state follows what is called as uniform or unitary form of government. And in unitary form of government, the power is concentrated in the capital. So any provincial government is not an independent government. Rather, these governments are vestiges of the central government in Sri Lanka, right? So this is the entire crux. Now, before we solve the PYQ, there's a very important announcement I needed to make. We are right now in the process of taking admission in resolution batches, and the January batch, the admissions are going to stop today itself, that is 17th of January. Please take admissions as soon as possible. Please remember, there are two separate batches. One is for 2027, the students who are looking to give exam then, and another one is for the students who are looking to give exams in 2028. Please do consider taking this batch. And before we end up, if you apply the code ATS Live, you are going to get even more discounts. Right now, 50% discount is applicable, and to get more discounts, you'll have to apply the code ATS Live. So do not forget that. And these are the questions that have appeared in UPSC exam. Try to solve this. This is from 2017. Which one of the following is the geographically closest to Great Nicobar Islands of India? Similarly, this is the another question relating to polity. Which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? Both are from 2017. Please do let me know the correct answers in the comments. And if you're from Tamil Nadu, or if you're Tamil watching it from anywhere, please do tell me if you're sensitive about this issue or not. And have I corrected each and every aspect of this, or have I covered each and every aspect of this? Please do let me know. Okay, so this is the end of our today's discussion, and if you want to download the notes, they will be available on this Telegram channel. If you have problems in locating it, you can always scan this QR code. So I'll see you again. Please have a very good day.